Peter, I think many people back the aims of Stonewall. I certainly back the fundamental aims of it, or certainly as well some of the other ones that they've campaigned for so valiantly in the past. But to make life better, really, isn't it? To make people more equal and for make life more acceptable and palatable and easier and more comfortable for LGBT people. But I think, oh, well, I don't know anyway. Can you understand maybe why some people feel that their reach is extended too far?
Well, I think that the conversation and discussion is rather slanted. I mean, you're right that Stonewall has done amazing work to make employment workplaces better for lesbian, gay, bisexual and trans people. You know, it's great that employers now provide, a welcoming, safe space where LGBT plus employees feel valued, welcomed, they get along with their colleagues. It makes for a happier workplace environment for everyone. And of course, happy workers are more productive workers. So it's in the interest of employers as well. So I really think the fuss is somewhat inflated. And when it comes to trans people, the starting point must be the massive scale of discrimination, harassment, hate crime, and worse that trans people face. And, it's way, way, way above the national average. And I think we ought to all be concerned to ensure that trans people do get a better deal in our society. And that, I think, is all that Stonewall is trying to do.
Why? I can understand to an extent what you're saying about the workplace elements of it. Happy workers make productive workers. What about patients? Don't safe patients make better patients? Why do we need to have on all female wards in hospitals people who are transitioning, who have not yet fully transitioned? I'll say it, men.
Well, look, there is a difference between trans women and other women, but that difference is perfectly valid. My view is live and let live. There are women who are trans, who identify as women, who dress and act as women, who feel as women, who in every respect are indistinguishable from other women. There's been a big fuss about trans women using women's toilets, but trans women have been doing that for decades, and no one has complained because no one has noticed and there's been no misbehavior. So I don't understand why there's this culture war being manufactured over a problem that really is not there.
I absolutely take what you're saying at face value, and I do believe that you do believe that there is a culture war, and that's fine. That's really not where I'm coming at it from, I think, really. I'm keen to get your take on this. For me, genuinely, it's about the idea of if there's self-identification, then, yes, there's no question, the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of people, in that case, is going to be absolutely fine. But it could be open for abuse. It could be, and indeed sometimes, and there's been a couple of cases in prisons, for example, where it has been open for abuse. And I just wonder why we need to take that risk. With self-identification, it could be abused.
Well, first of all, self-identification does not mean that someone can, on a whim, declare themselves to be a trans woman or a trans man. Under the proposals, they would have to sign a statutory declaration in front of a justice of the peace or some other professional person. This is a legal document that has legal standing. So it is not something people can simply do. Once they do it, if they violate that, then certainly in theory, they can be held technically legally liable.
But don't Stonewall want... Sorry, Peter, just quickly, sorry, so we're a bit pressed on. Don't Stonewall want the idea of total self-identification? Don't they want it in the workplace? Don't they want the idea that I self-identify as a woman and I'd have to be considered as a woman?
Not just walk in and do it. They say that you have to do a statutory declaration, a legal document. That's the basis. And it's been done successfully in many other countries like Ireland and Malta, and there's been no problem in those countries. Everybody's been looking out for problems, but there have been no problems. And I agree, in a small number of cases, trans women have done bad things. But you can't demonize a whole community on the basis of a few bad apples. We don't say, we don't demonize Muslims as terrorists because of a handful of
absolutely.
extremists. we don't generalise, and nor should we generalise about trans people in that way. I mean, it's so wrong to treat trans people.
I think it's
the idea that they're predators. Can I just say that I know women who work in women's centres who've accepted trans women for, in most cases, 5 to 8 years. They say there's never been a problem. They do background checks on all women who enter the women's centre, and that's the way to ensure women's safety.
Absolutely. Just very quickly, Peter, I just want to get this one to you. I'm a man. Obviously, I identify as a man, and indeed I am. And you are a man as well, as far as I'm aware. And you, as far as I can tell anyway, will have never had a period. You will never birth anything. You will never have that lived experience of maybe what it's like to be a woman. Neither will I. So what gives people like you and I the right to say that person's a woman now? Shouldn't that be down to women?
Well, I do not seek that right for myself. What I am doing is supporting the call by trans people. I am not trans. I'm a trans ally. I don't know the experience of women because I'm not a woman. But I do want to try and build bridges between the trans community and women. I believe that all women, including trans women, are victims of misogyny, of prejudice, discrimination, harassment, and rape. And that all those women, including trans women, have a common interest in working together to protect each other.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.